Hi, Harvey Rice family. This is Mrs. Andrade from second grade, room 115. Today I'm going to read Santa is Coming to Cleveland. Well, boomed Santa, have all the children from Cleveland been good this year? Well, mostly, answered the little old elf as he bustled across the busy workshop to Santa's desk. Santa peered down at the elf from behind the tall, teetering piles of letters that the children of Cleveland had sent him. Mostly, asked Santa, looking over the top of his glasses. Yes, but they've all been especially good in the last few days, said the elf. Jolly good, chuckled Santa. Then we'd better get the presents loaded up. Even though the sack of presents was really, really big, and the elves were really, really small, they seemed to have no trouble loading it onto Santa's sleigh. Though how they managed to fit such a big sack into one little sleigh, even they didn't know. But somehow they did. Splendid, boomed Santa. We're ready to go. Not quite, Santa, said the little old elf. One of our reindeer is missing. Missing? Which reindeer is missing? Asked Santa. The youngest one, Santa, said the elf. It's his first flight tonight. I've called him and called him, but... Just then a young reindeer strolled up, munching on a large carrot. Where have you been? Asked Santa. But the youngest reindeer was crunching so loudly that it was no wonder he hadn't heard the little old elf calling. Oh, well, never mind, said Santa, giving the reindeer a little wink. He took out his Santa nav and tapped in the coordinates for Cleveland, Ohio. This will guide us to Cleveland in no time. Crunch, crunch, crunch. With a flick of the reins and a jerk of the harness, off they went, racing through the sky. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. We'll soon have all these presents delivered to the rock and roll capital of the world. Santa's sleigh flew through the starry night, heading south across the Arctic Ocean. On they flew in the crispy, wintry air, crossing over Canada. In the wink of an eye, the sleigh was flying above Michigan and on to Ohio. The youngest reindeer was very excited. He had never been away from the North Pole before. They had just crossed Lake Erie when suddenly they ran into a blizzard. Snowflakes whirled around the sleigh. They couldn't see a thing. The youngest reindeer was getting a bit worried, but Santa didn't seem concerned. In 2 miles, said the Santa nav in a bossy lady's voice. Keep left at the next star. But ma'am, Santa blustered, I can't see any stars in all this snow. Soon they were hopelessly lost. Then through the howling blizzard, the youngest reindeer heard a faint ringing sound. Ding dong. He looked over at the old reindeer with the red nose, but he had his head down. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. There was that sound again, like church bells ringing. The youngest reindeer turned around to look at Santa, but Santa wasn't listening. He seemed to be arguing with a little box with buttons on it. With a flick of the harness and a jerk of the reins, the youngest reindeer gave a sharp tug and headed off toward the sound of the bells, pulling Santa in his sleigh behind him. Whoa! Cried Santa, pulling his head on straight. What's going on? Then, to his surprise, he heard the ringing sound. Well done, young reindeer, he shouted cheerfully. It must be the bells of Trinity Cathedral. Don't worry, children. Santa is coming. Then suddenly, crunch! The sleigh hit something as it plummeted through the snow clouds. You have arrived, said the Santa nav unhelpfully. Finally, when the snow had died down and the clouds parted, Santa discovered exactly where they were. Stuck right at the very top of a Christmas tree in Public Square. Everybody pull! The reindeer pulled with all their might until at last, with a screeching noise, the sleigh scraped clear of the Christmas tree. Santa steered them safely above First Energy Stadium, over the Cuyahoga River, above the West Side Market and down into Lakewood Park. Luckily, there was no real damage done, but the packages had all been jumbled up. Santa quickly sorted out the presents into order again. "All right," said Santa. "Thanks to this young reindeer, I know where we are now. Don't worry, children. Santa is coming." Santa drove his sleigh expertly from rooftop to rooftop all over Cleveland, popping in and out of chimneys as fast as he could go. There were big chimneys in Tremont and small chimneys in Lee Miles. He squeezed down thin chimneys in West Park and plummeted down fat chimneys in Central. The youngest reindeer was amazed at how quickly they went. Santa never seemed to get tired at all, and it looked like all the children in Cleveland were going to be very lucky this year. But the youngest reindeer was starting to feel a bit weary and quite hungry too. In house after house, Santa delved into his sack for packages of every shape and size. He piled them under the Christmas trees and carefully filled up the stockings with surprises. In house after house, the good children of Cleveland had left out a plate of cookies, a small glass of milk, and a big, crunchy carrot. Santa took a little bite out of each cookie, a tiny sip of milk, wiped his beard, and popped the carrots into his sack. From Shaker Square to Detroit Shoreway, from Old Brooklyn to Ohio City, from Mount Pleasant to Forest Hill, from South Broadway to North Collinwood, and all the places in between, Santa and his sleigh visited every house in Cleveland. Santa delivered presents to Abigail, Addison, Aiden, Alexander, Andrew, Ava. The list went on and on. Violet, Wyatt, Xavier, Zachary, Zoe, Zibble. Finally, Santa had delivered the last present on his long Cleveland list. "Gray moons and stars," sighed Santa. "It's past midnight, and my sack seems as heavy as ever. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone." Santa opened his sack to check, but it was full of juicy, crunchy carrots. Santa divided the carrots among all the reindeer. "Well done," he said, patting the youngest reindeer gently on the nose. But the youngest reindeer didn't hear him. He was too busy munching. Then it was time to set off for home. Santa reset his Santa nav once more to the North Pole, and soon they were speeding high above Riverside, past the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and out over Rockefeller Park through the crisp, starry night. "Ho, ho, ho," laughed Santa. "Merry Christmas, Cleveland." Snip, snap, snout, this tale's told out. Thanks for listening, everybody. Happy holidays.